friends, happy Sunday, or whatever day of the week it is when you are watching this. If you haven't been here before, my name is Allison. I am an American living and working in Austria as a school librarian. I've been here for 2 whole weeks now. I am coming to you live from my very basic temporary housing where I'm staying while I look for an apartment. Cross your fingers, I think I found an amazing one. I just have to, go through the whole application process and hope that things work out. So anyway, I apologize for any poor lighting there is, the weird background, if it happens to be bad sound quality, whether too echoey or not loud enough or whatever. I apologize, this is only a temporary situation. I hope that wherever I go next will be better, because I'm crossing my fingers that, this works out and I still keep making videos. Anyway, I thought I would try my hand at my first weekly reading vlog. So, as I said, it's a Sunday here. I'm going to try to keep this going all through the week. The thing is, I am not really a big planner when it comes to reading. Obviously, sometimes there are books that I want or need to get to by a certain time. But most of the time I sort of am pretty impulsive and pick up whatever I am sort of in the mood for. So, I am not going to tell you ahead of time what I hope to read this week, but I will keep you updated as the week goes on. So it's pretty early Sunday morning here. I woke up a little while ago, even though I was out all day yesterday. I walked tons and tons. I still woke up super early, so I figured that is a great reason to pick up a book and do some nice, cozy early morning reading. Especially because this past week was my first week at my new job. No kids yet, but it was teacher preparation week, and I was just so exhausted from getting into a new routine and meeting all those new people that I did not read a single book for all of last week. So I have some catching up to do for the month of September. I just got some new books. I went to Vienna yesterday. My city, Linz, tragically does not have a Starbucks, and I am a bit of a pumpkin spice addict, so I had a pumpkin spice iced coffee while I was in the city walking around, and then the train station had a Starbucks as well, so I got a second one without ice to bring home and put in my fridge so I could enjoy it with my breakfast this morning. So I'm going to eat my pastry, drink my pumpkin spice iced coffee, and do a little bit of reading. And I will be back to update you in a little while. Hey friends, how's it going? It is several hours later. I have had a not super productive day. As you can see, I stayed in my lounge clothes all day, which is pretty typical for me on the weekends, if I'm being honest, and I am totally okay with that. So I did do some reading. I also did a fair amount of watching YouTube videos, which, again, it's the weekend. I like to relax. So I ended up deciding to start The Kindred by Alicia Dow, which is not out quite yet. I have an e-galley from NetGalley, and I've been really slacking on my 2021 reading goals of reading one sci-fi, one fantasy, one nonfiction every month. So I decided it's time to pick up sci-fi. And I did. And I am a little less than halfway through. I don't know the page number. I feel like it's maybe 43, 44%. And so far I am really, really liking it. It is set in the same sort of universe as The Sound of Stars, her first book, but it's not a sequel. Completely different characters. So far I don't think any characters from The Sound of Stars have shown up in The Kindred, but I can't say for certain because I read that book a while ago and I don't remember everything. Anyway, as I said, I'm really liking it so far. I think that there's a lot of great just like stuff that is seemingly inconsequential, really casual usage of they, them pronouns for a god, and just like that it's a given in this universe that there are non-binary people. It just treats things like being on the queer spectrum or being non-binary as just a given in this universe and not something that's strange or out of the ordinary, something to be ashamed of. And there's also good parallels to our own universe about... Okay, sorry, I got distracted by my cat being a freak of nature circus performer who... So this place that I'm staying right now has these shelves built onto the walls, and for days now she has sort of been eyeing the ones above the bed and acting like she really wants to get up there, and so far she hasn't succeeded, but today it happened. If you can hear her meowing in the background of this, it's probably because she can't figure out how to get down, or wants more praise for succeeding. I don't know. Anyway, I apologize for that. I have completely lost my train of thought about what I was saying related to the book that I was reading. So let's just talk about what The Kindred is about. So basically, in this galaxy where it's set, the ruling family was sort of about to have a class war on their hands because people from different planets and lower socioeconomic statuses were like on the cusp of rebellion, and so they introduced this like new thing as a means of appeasement, which is that whenever babies are born, they are automatically paired with someone who is called their kindred, and basically they both get like matching chips implanted in their minds when they're born, and it's completely done by random, and then they are like linked to that person's mind for their entire life. And it was supposed to be like someone from a higher social class and someone from a lower social class paired together, and I don't really understand how that was supposed to appease those of lower socioeconomic status, but apparently it was, and it quelled the rebellion. But there's always been sort of a tacit exception for like royals, because they're never supposed to be paired with someone who's not also a noble for, reasons. And this one person who's like cousin to the royal ruling family gets paired with So his name is Felix, and he gets paired with this girl, Joy, as his kindred. And she is from the poorest world in the galaxy, very like religiously conservative, anti-technology, kind of the like worst place you can be. And the ruling family was very unhappy about this and have like talked about killing her multiple times, which is awesome. But like it's against the law to break the connection between kindreds, I guess. So there's some definite shady stuff going on. Something else to know, this isn't mentioned on the back, but I don't think it's too spoilery. A lot of kindreds, because there's such a close connection, end up falling in love, and like a hugely high percentage end up married to each other. But it's already been like determined and like insisted upon that can never happen for Felix and Joy, because she is just of such a low class. So of course, they've both been fighting feelings for each other forever. So they're kindred, they like are really close, they have this connection, blah, blah, blah. And then this like really catastrophic event happens and they have to go on the run. I don't want to give too many details away because, you know, I don't want to spoil it, but they end up on Earth. And that's where I am right now. I don't know. They have to figure out a way off of Earth because they have to like stay safe and keep on the run and figure out what's going on with their families and what really happened with this event, because one of them is being blamed for the event and one of them is also kind of being scapegoated for the event. Anyway, it has more to do with social class and prejudices and blah, blah, blah. So there's been a good amount of action so far. Their visit to Earth is just really, really funny. Like, they're still there right now, and I'm just really enjoying that. And also just Joy putting Felix in his place all the time, because he is like textbook, has a lot of money, doesn't understand the world type of character. But it's really good so far. I can't wait to read more. I feel like that's the end of the update on that book for now. I'm probably going to read a little bit more before I go to bed, but I do want to try to go to bed kind of early tonight because tomorrow is my first day with children at school. So yeah, I'm going to meet the kids at my school for the first time tomorrow, so I'm hoping I will be able to get a good night's sleep, even though that basically never happens. Another thing I did today, in addition to reading and watching YouTube, was doing some research. So in the US, it is almost Latinx Heritage Month, which starts on September 15th. And something else that I've been trying to do this year in terms of reading goals, like it's been important to me for a lot of years now to consciously try to read authors from diverse backgrounds, from marginalized groups, etc., etc. And one of the ways I've been trying to make sure that I do that this year, especially because I am such a mood reader that, like, you know, if I want to pick up 18 rom-coms by white women authors, I will do that because I'm in the mood for rom-coms, and I don't want to end up having read, 75% white authors because of my silly moods. So I have used the US's sort of History, Heritage Month, whatever's, as a way to force myself to only read authors from those backgrounds during those months. Not to say, obviously I have read books by Black authors outside of the month of February, but in February I only read books by Black authors. And the same for Asian American Pacific Heritage Month and Pride Month. And so my plan is to read only Latinx authors during Latinx Heritage Month, and then only Indigenous authors during the month of November, Indigenous History Heritage Month, whatever it's called. And I know those are US-centric things, and I live in Austria now, but there's still things that are important to me. So I feel like for some reason, like each year, I tend to read a lot more Black and Asian authors than I do Latinx authors. And so I wanted to make sure that I had like a good list of books to choose from. And I always like to make a list of way more books than I am actually going to read so that I have choices because, like I said, I have to be in the mood to read things. And so if I have more choices, then I'm more likely to want to read one of those things. So I already had some YA books on my radar that I knew I wanted to read, but I really wanted to make sure, again, I have not been doing well with the whole one nonfiction book a month thing, even though it's only one book a month. I still haven't read a nonfiction book in like 3 or 4 months probably. So I wanted to give myself a couple of selections for nonfiction books that I could read. And my go-to books to read, like when I'm stressed and I just want something easy, are romances and cozy mysteries. And so I wanted to make sure that I had some of those on a list. So if I'm in the mood for a romance or a cozy mystery, I have books by Latinx authors in those categories that I can. So I have a good list of plenty of YA books, a good number of middle grade books, a couple of romances. I found 2 nonfiction books that sound interesting. I would like to put more on my list just in case like I can't get holds from the library in time, or I start one and it's just like too dense and I can't handle it right at that time or whatever. But I haven't started researching cozies by Latinx authors. So I hope that I will put this video up during Latinx Heritage Month because otherwise it will be not for a while. So if you're watching this and it's sometime between September 15th and October 15th and you have recommendations for cozy mysteries by Latinx authors, please leave me suggestions. Okay, so I think that is it for my updates for now. I am going to read a little bit more, probably watch a little more YouTube, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello friends, it is Tuesday evening. I did not film anything yesterday and I did not read anything yesterday because it was just a busy, exhausting first day of school. Molly has a lot to say tonight, so I apologize for her whininess. I just fed her and it's not her favorite food, so she has to complain about it for a little while before she inevitably eats it. Anyway, I had another long day today, but I decided that I was going to power through and finish The Kindred by Alicia Dow because tomorrow is September 15th. That is the beginning of Latinx Heritage Month, and I want to make sure I am only reading Latinx authors for that month, so I wanted to finish The Kindred and be able to start fresh tomorrow. And it was so good. There are so many things that I enjoy about the universe that Alicia Dow has created. First being that even though, we are dealing with aliens and other planets, it's not like a utopian world. Classism and sexism and racism all still exist, and I think there are really interesting parallels between that and our own world here on Earth. I still found the interactions between the alien main characters and the characters from Earth and just their interactions, not just with the people, but with Earth in general, to be the most delightful. It was funny and it was heartwarming. Although I have to say, Felix, one of the main characters, got constantly annoyed with the humans because
they fainted like every time someone found out they're aliens. And it's like, I'm sorry. I think that that's a perfectly relatable and understandable reaction. But of course, I am a human, so I would say something like that. There was a brief moment almost at the end of the book when I thought Alicia Dow was going to break my heart, but I had to power through and just believe that she wouldn't do that to us, and things turned out okay in the end. I feel like that's not too spoilery to say. Also, just this book is set before her first book, The Sound of Stars, so it's interesting to like see cameos from people who were, or maybe just a couple people who were in that book, but also know what's to come in that book and be kind of really sad about that. And I love that she has thus far written standalones, but like I want more. I want to know what happens between the end of this book and the start of The Sound of Stars. And I wanted a little more from the ending of The Sound of Stars too, but I also like, I do enjoy that they're not trilogies or interminable sci-fi series because it's nice to have a standalone too. Also, I still am like just super happy about the matter-of-factness with which the spectrum of queerness and gender and sexuality presented in this book. When there were new characters who were introducing themselves, they just stated pronouns as a matter of fact. Whenever the main characters were like referencing someone who they didn't know personally, they used their them pronouns because they didn't know the gender. It's completely normal to be gay or a lesbian, and NBs are referenced as totally normal. I know I'm saying like, I hate the word normal, but just like, it's all just very matter of fact in this universe, and I loved that about it. Also, Joy is demisexual, which again, we're here for representation on the entire queer spectrum, so yay for that. It's only mentioned once briefly toward the very end of the book, but it is there on the page. Now my cat is doing something weird, clawing at the window. It will be really nice when we move into our actual apartment and have more than one small room to share together. Anyway, so yes, I know that The Kindred does not come out until 2022, but if you are a fan of sci-fi, or even if you aren't, I would definitely recommend it. I really liked it. Also, we are here for all of the fat girl representation, and Joy is not just a fat girl, but a fat black girl. So, fat women of color, yes. And like, there is a singer on Earth during this book who is described as like Taylor Swift combined with Lizzo, combined with someone else who I don't remember, and I'm not sure if it's a real person or a made-up person. But either way, she was basically like the book equivalent of Lizzo, although again, like I said, mixed with Taylor Swift and someone else. And Joy really connected with her music, and that was awesome. And she, like, it was just so good. And just, Joy being a fat girl and her kindred being wholeheartedly enamored with her, just made me so happy, and just so much affirmation of like, you are enough, you are beautiful, you are great. So we need way more of that, not just in YA books, but across the spectrum of all media in our society. So to see it in a genre book, in a sci-fi book, was amazing. Okay, so I feel like I have talked enough about this, but excellent book, excellent start to the reading week. The rest of this week is going to be really busy. These 2 days, the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, kids were released really early, and so most of the afternoon was super quiet and there was lots of time to work. But starting tomorrow, we have full days, and there's back to school night for the younger kids tomorrow night and the older kids the night after that, and I work with all of them, so I get to go to both, which, lucky me. So the next couple of days are going to be really long. I don't know. Plus, on Thursday and Friday, I am doing these like library and academic honesty workshops for everyone in the older kid division. So that's a lot. So basically, I want to read more this week, but I don't know how much more reading I'll get done, at least during the work week. Over the weekend might be a time to hole up in my room and eat junk food and power through several books. But for now, it's getting late. I did want to update on the ending of The Kindred, but now I'm going to go to bed because I have to get up super early to go to work and stay there all day until back to school night. So I will talk to you maybe tomorrow, maybe later in the week.
Good morning, friends. It is Saturday, which means that I have not updated anything here since Tuesday. I also have not done any reading since I finished The Kindred on Tuesday, so it's been a really great start to this reading vlog, but it's Saturday, as I mentioned. It's kind of gloomy and overcast here in Linz. There's a chill to the air. It's very fall, and in my opinion, it is the perfect type of day to just curl up under the covers in cozy clothes and read the day away. So I already went out this morning to pick up some coffee from Dunkin'. I decided to see if the Dunkin' in Linz, which just opened like a month ago, had pumpkin flavor. And it's nice to have like good real iced coffee as opposed to the weird stuff you can buy in the grocery store here. This is a tangent, but one of the things that I'm having shipped over once I finally move into my real permanent apartment and not this terrible temporary place with nothing on the walls and no personality, is my cold brew coffee maker. So I'll be able to make iced coffee at home and add whatever sweeteners I want. Our American delicacies of coffee creamer are not really a thing here, so I think I'm going to experiment with making my own coffee creamer in different delicious flavors. But again, that is way off topic. So I have coffee, I'm going to make some breakfast, and I'm going to just spend the whole day reading. I do think I will need to go out one more time to the grocery store because nothing here is open on Sundays, and I do need, I think, a little bit more cat food, and I got something on my jeans and I want to see if they have a stain remover. So at some point today I'm going to do one more errand, but for the majority of the day, just reading. And I have prepared for Latinx History Month by downloading a ton of books I want to read onto my Kindle. So I'm going to start reading one of those today. TBD which one. I have a fantasy involving dragons that I really want to read called Blaze Wrath Games by, excuse me, Emperor Ortiz. I have a couple of middle grades I really want to get to, and I got a couple of romance novels too. I'm really excited about The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. And like, if I ever don't know what I want to read, I tend to just default to romance. So it might be that. But what else? I was just looking at them as I was like scrolling through my Kindle. There's lots of, I downloaded a ton of Anna Marie McLemore's books, and I'm going to try to get over my aversion to magical realism sometime in this month. So I have big plans for the books I want to read during Latinx Heritage Month. Now I just have to pick one and actually read it to get the month started. So that's what I'm going to do now. I will catch up with you in a little while, and I hope you are all having an excellent Saturday or whatever day of the week it is when you are watching this. Hey everyone, it is Sunday morning. It is nice to see you all again. I didn't grab the camera very much yesterday. I did read a whole book yesterday and another one this morning. It has been a very productive Sunday for me. I did my laundry, which included figuring out the strange washing machines that are all in German and I don't understand what they mean. That's a story for another time, I suppose. If you ever want to know about what it's like to use pay washers and dryers in Austria, we can have a chat about that some other time. So yesterday I ended up reading The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. I read it all in one day. It is an enemies to lovers book, which... So I don't know if I've ever talked about why I don't tend to like those as much as books that feature other tropes. But basically, a lot of the times it seems to me that at least one of the main characters, usually the men, because yes, Molly wants to be in this vlog as well. You can see her peeking into the camera. I feel like the authors try to emphasize their bad qualities so much in the very beginning, or the animosity between the two main characters so much in the beginning of the story, that I just don't understand how they can be forgiven by the end of the story. And that's just me and my personality and my baggage and my trust issues, but they tend to rub me the wrong way because of that. I feel like in this particular book, the enemies to lovers trope wasn't as unpalatable to me because I guess I didn't think that about the main male love interest at the beginning. I mean, I didn't love the way he approached the situation in the book that came up, but I also didn't find him as irredeemable as I found some other love interests in romances with enemies to lovers trope. So anyway, and then it turns out that, you know, well, that's a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say that. In the end, I enjoyed The Worst Best Man. I thought that, you know, it wasn't as laugh out loud a rom-com as others that I have read, but it was enjoyable. It had an actual plot. I didn't hate all of the characters except for Andrew, and I feel like that's understandable. If you've read it, you know. So yeah, it was a good way to spend a Saturday afternoon. A good way to kick off my reading only Latinx authors for Latinx Heritage Month. And then the rest of the day, Saturday, I just was not super productive, watched some YouTube videos, watched some Netflix, went to bed early because I am a grandmother at heart. This morning, as I mentioned, I was already pretty productive. Then after I took care of all of that annoying weekend maintenance stuff, laundry, shower, cleaning stuff up, feeding the cat, etc., I read Lupe Wong Won't Dance by Donna Barba Iguera. I hope that I am pronouncing her name correctly. It is a middle grade book, and Lupe's voice is just so strong and so unique and so very 7th grade. Like, she is hysterical and she has such a personality, and it was a great read. Basically, Lupe's made a deal with her uncle. So first of all, you should know, sorry, I'm backtracking. Lupe is Chinese and Mexican, and she is an excellent athlete, and she wants to be the first female pitcher in Major League Baseball. And she has made a deal with her uncle that if she earns straight A's in this term at school, she will get to meet this pitcher on the Seattle Mariners who is also biracial, Chinese and Mexican. And she's worked super hard in all of her classes, and it seems like PE is like not going to be the class to give her problems because she's an awesome athlete. And then the unit they're doing in PE this term is square dancing, and she is not having it for a number of different reasons. And she tries her very best to get out of square dancing for herself personally, for the 7th grade entirely, and the more she tries, the more things just spiral out of control and the more disasters happen, both small and large. And I think that by the end of the book, Lupe really does experience some personal growth, but it is a wild ride and it is hysterical. And if you are looking for, I know we don't like to gender books, of course, all books are for all people, read what you want, etc., etc. But if you are really looking for a book with a female main character who really does sort of defy stereotypes, this is a great book. And of course, it's great if you know a biracial kid or teach biracial kids. It was an all-around delightful book. I definitely want to add it to my own library collection and would recommend it for other library collections as well. So, 2 books done this weekend. I need to do some annoying computer work. I just started this YouTube channel, but I started a blog a couple of months ago, and then I took a really long hiatus from the blog when I was in the middle of my job search and then in the process of moving to a new country and moving out of my apartment in New York. So that has been sorely neglected, and I would like to start updating it again. So I feel like I need to do some maintenance on that, some stuff to just prepare for the school week this week. So I'm hoping to get some of that done this Sunday afternoon, but perhaps I will also get a little bit more reading done, and if so, I will be back to update you before this weekly vlog is over. So I hope that you are also having an enjoyable Sunday afternoon, or whatever day of the week or time of day it is when you're watching this, and I will check in with you later.
Hey friends, it is Sunday night, almost bedtime, and time to end this weekly vlog. So the rest of the day was not as productive as I wanted it to be in terms of doing work stuff. You want to look something up or get something done, and you go down a rabbit hole of internet research, and then suddenly hours are gone.
But I did actually manage to squeeze in one more book. I ended up reading a memoir called Spirit Run by Noe Alvarez, and it is a recount of his experience participating in this ultra marathon that takes place. Hi, Molly. Do you want to say hello? Wouldn't be a vlog update without an appearance from her. Anyway, Spirit Run is about this ultramarathon that takes place running across indigenous lands from Alaska to the Panama Canal. And actually, like, one group of people starts in Alaska and runs to Panama, and another group runs from the very southern tip of South America, Tierra del Fuego, to Panama Canal, and they meet there. But the author participated in the North American leg of this, so he recounts his experiences running from northern British Columbia all the way to Guatemala. He didn't complete the entire journey, which, if you want to know the reasons for that, you can read the book. I felt that it was really interesting, you know, for an event like that, that's like such a huge endeavor and is really kind of significant in terms of our country because it focuses on the indigenous people and the indigenous lands. I'm kind of shocked, but also not shocked that I'd never heard of it. It's called Peace and Dignity Journeys, if you want more information. Anyway, so the story, I say story, even though it was nonfiction, because it really is like the story of his experiences and how he ended up participating in general and what that was like. It was very engaging. I read it really quickly, which rarely happens with nonfiction, so that was nice. The only thing that I really didn't like about it was that occasionally he would like throw in memories or experiences with his parents or from his childhood. And although once you started reading them, you would know that it wasn't like something that was happening right then, the time was rarely identified, and like the fact that they were thrown in between, like this more linear recounting of the marathon experience, made it feel kind of like disjointed to me. And sometimes I got a little bit confused about what was going on and why that was going there and how it really connected to the main narrative of the story. Like, I understand that obviously his upbringing as the child of Mexican immigrants to America who worked as essentially migrant farm workers in Washington state, that all tied into his whole like reason for going on this trip, and especially for running through Mexico. So I understand, like, I get how they're connected. I just don't necessarily know that I agreed with the decision structurally in terms of the book. But that's a me thing. It was still a really, really good book if you are looking for, like, if you want to pick up more nonfiction. I was honestly struggling to find nonfiction by Latinx authors that I wanted to read this month. Just nothing that I was finding when I was doing research was appealing to me. So I was really glad to pick this up and to find it even more engaging than I thought it would be. So that's a great end to this reading week, in which I read 4 books, which is really impressive to me because last week I read 0 books, which is unusual. So as I mentioned at the start of this week, last week I started The Kindred and I finished that and I loved it.
And then this weekend I read 3 books. I read The Worst Best Man, Lupe Wong Won't Dance, and this book, Spirit Run. So all in all, a productive reading week. I'm pretty happy with that. And there were not really any duds in the week. I enjoyed all of the books. So I'm happy with that. I am ready to go to bed and go back to work tomorrow for another work week. Hopefully this week will be slightly less exhausting than last week. And hopefully I'll be a little bit better about vlogging what I'm reading. But anyway, I am going to go get ready for bed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this, and see you later.